Previously on Crockett versus Greene.
You the one talking about.
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No, ain't nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
Order.
Mr. Chairman,
That's beneath
would
even
you please regain order of your committee?
Order.
A few moments later.
Let's look at fraud. We could investigate whether the White House and the members of this subcommittee engaged in insider trading and market manipulation. Maybe it's a coincidence that the chairwoman brought hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stock the day before Trump announced a 90-day pause on tariffs.
Let them fight.
And we are back, and we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us. Now, y'all, today's video is a little bit more of a lighthearted video, maybe a bit of a guilty pleasure. You know, we've been grinding. We've been looking at fraud. We've been looking at people getting indicted, arrested. We've been looking at all kinds of back and forth. It's a little bit of a guilty pleasure today. We're just going to look at a good old fashioned back and forth verbal fight. Okay. So if you're down for that, if you just want to look at some good old fashioned back and forth, that's what we're going to cover today. Before we get into it, y'all, don't forget, if you have over $50,000, $50,000 to $100,000 or more in your retirement account, particularly if you're nearing retirement, you may want to consider, and I strongly recommend you do consider, moving some or all of your retirement into gold so you can help protect it against inflation and sudden ups and downs in the stock market and other markets. Reach out to Augusta Precious Metals. That's my people, y'all. 844-651-8334, 844-651-8334, or go down the first link in the description, paralegal-institute.com/gold. Click the link, put in your information, get the information package, and we'll get in touch with you. Now, y'all, we're going to look at your girl, Jasmine Crockett. Pretty much every week she's going to do something, y'all. She's going to do something. Not legislatively, no. Helping improve the lives of people, no. But something ratchet, something gum popping, you know, popping off. Yeah, she's going to do something like that at least once a week. So let's go ahead and check it out. This time, it's a back and forth. It's a fight with her favorite her favorite nemesis, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Should we do a flashback? Let's do a flashback first to their big explosion that put them on the radar for everybody, that they just don't like each other. And then we'll get into what happened yesterday. Let's do a flashback.
Do you know what we're here for? You know we're here about
I don't think you know what you're here for.
Well, you the one talking about.
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No, ain't nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
Order.
Mr. Chairman,
That's beneath
would
even
you please regain order of your committee?
Order.
I do have a point of order, and I would like to move to take down Ms. Greene's words. That is absolutely unacceptable. How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person?
Are your feelings hurt?
Her words down.
Aw.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even play.
Baby girl? I don't think
we are going to move, and we're going to take your words down.
I second that motion.
So, you agree to strike your words?
Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Greene agrees to strike her words.
I believe she needs to apologize. No. She needs to apologize.
Okay, hold on. Then after Mr. Perry's going to be recognized, then Ms. Green
I'm not
has 4 minutes and
apologizing.
21
Well,
seconds.
then
Okay,
you're
reserve
not
the right to
striking your
object.
words.
I am
Mr.
not
Perry.
apologizing.
Now let's go. Come on, guys.
It's me.
Ms. Crockett.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
Chairman, I make a motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's
Hold on.
I'm trying to find clarification on what quality.
Chairman, motion to strike
I had
those
no idea
words.
what you just said.
We're not gonna do this. Look, you guys earlier literally just said
You just voted to do
Y'all did
it.
it first, so you don't want to talk about it.
Voted to do it.
Order.
I'm trying to get clarification.
Look at calm down. Calm
No,
down.
because this
I
is
would
what
like
y'all
to get
do.
to proceedings.
So I'm trying to get
Ms.
clarification.
Crockett, you're not recognized.
All right, so that's where everybody took notice that Jasmine Crockett has no shame. She'll yell, she'll scream in Congress, and that Marjorie Taylor Greene will go right back and forth with her. She'll be right there with her, and that they're going to go at each other. So now yesterday, Jasmine Crockett saw an opportunity to take some digs at Miss Greene, right? And so she goes right at Miss Greene. Let's take a look. I'm going to edit this for y'all. Again, like I said, it's a bit of a guilty pleasure video, okay? We're just going to watch some back and forth. Let's take a look.
Ask for unanimous consent.
Without objection.
I'd like to enter into the record a New York Times article entitled, "The GOP Plans to Cut Medicaid Would Save Billions But Leave More Uninsured," Budget Office says. That's what we're actually outraged
Without objection,
about.
so ordered. I now recognize
Also, I
Mr.
want to
Burchett
point out that the
from
most
Tennessee.
powerful oversight Republican
I now
in
you're not
Congress
recognized. Miss Stansbury, you're not recognized.
talking
I'm
about
sorry, we're going to
fencing
Crockett.
while they're trying to cut Medicaid.
Actually, Miss Stansbury, you're not recognized. I now recognize Miss Crockett from Texas.
Thank you so much. It is so interesting that I just learned today at 44 years old that the Republicans are going to be the ones to save women. The same Republicans that have been, say, for women's reproductive acts, or the same Republicans that have stood for the Equal Rights Act, which would hopefully get women to equal pay, or the same Republicans that just this Congress voted for the SAVE Act, which we know would disenfranchise women from even being able to vote. But let me tell you, they are our saviors, and so I am so happy to be here today, because otherwise I would not have an idea that I had a savior in the Republicans. So let's also talk about the fact that it's only been 100 days, 100 long, terrible days for anybody that absolutely believes in reality, because what we know is that they have terminated staff responsible for enforcing federal protections against sex-based discrimination. Sounds like that's pro-women. Or they've cut funding for domestic violence survivor services. Sounds pro-woman to me. Or they've prohibited funding for research affecting women's health. That definitely sounds pro-women to me. Essentially, they closed the Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights. Again, sounds like they are fighting for us. And instead of providing oversight over these actions, Congressional Republicans have been working to execute one of the most aggressive anti-women legislative agendas in history. And yet, they're here today trying to convince the American people that discriminating against trans people is somehow the only way to protect women. This hearing has nothing to do with improving government efficiency. It's another attempt by Republicans to distract from their demonic and disastrous policies that are making it more difficult for Americans to make ends meet. So, Miss Goss Graves, I want to play a game. It's called Trump or Trans. You ready? Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to tell me whether or not it is Trump or trans people that are responsible. You understand?
Got it.
Okay, very good. The first one, gutted medical research.
Trump.
Kidnapping Americans and sending them to foreign countries, a.k.a. deporting them.
Trump.
Driving us into a recession.
Trump.
Increasing the cost of everything.
Trump.
Waging an idiotic tariff war.
Trump.
Harming farmers.
Trump.
Ignoring the Constitution.
Trump.
Proposing to take away Social Security.
Trump.
Cutting health care.
Trump.
Firing government workers who keep our country safe.
Trump.
Encouraging an environment of hate and divisiveness.
Trump.
Thank you so much. This committee could be engaged in actual oversight of fraud, waste, abuse, and mismanagement. So let's talk about waste. Like Trump's plan to spend almost $100 million for his little birthday parade. Or how he spent 25% of his first 100 days golfing, costing taxpayers tens of millions of dollars. In fact, it's a little bit over $30 million at our last estimation. In fact, President Trump is on pace to spend more than $1 billion of taxpayer dollars just on golfing. Yet the Republicans have been silent. So they must think spending taxpayer dollars on the president's golfing trips is more important than providing health care to their constituents. And when I talk about constituents, we're going to talk about the ones on this committee. So if we look at Texas 26, 39,000 children look to potentially lose their Medicaid with the cuts that they are about to vote on for reconciliation. 88,000 in Georgia 3, 68,000 in Missouri 7, 79,000 in Tennessee 2, 86,000 in South Carolina 4, 50,000 in Texas 04, 85,000 in Texas 27, and in Georgia 14, 111,000. And if you add that up just on this committee, we have 606,000 kids that are relying on us to do right by them. And instead, we playing these crazy games because we worried about 10 trans folk that are in sports right now in college. I wasn't elected to be engaged in these fights. I was elected to make sure that those kids, the kids that they are about to neglect with these terrible votes that they're about to take, I was elected to protect them and to make sure that they could grow up and have all the opportunities. But let's keep on track. Now, when we look at how much they are spending on, let's look at fraud. We could investigate whether the White House and the members of this subcommittee engaged in insider trading and market manipulation. Maybe it's a coincidence that the chairwoman brought hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stock the day before Trump announced a 90-day pause on tariffs. But I guess we'll never know. So finally, let's talk about abuse. Like how the Republicans have let Elon steal data of Americans and his competitors to make himself even richer. Look, don't let these hearings distract you from their destruction. This is rage baiting instead of conducting oversight over the issues that Americans actually care about. And with that, I will yield.
The gentlelady's time is expired.
Madam Chair,
I now recognize.
Madam Chair, I move down to take down her words impugning you. It's saying you committed a crime.
Without objection, so ordered.
Say what? That's not.
See how. The committee will
Point of
suspend. The
parliamentary
committee will
inquiry.
suspend.
Point of parliamentary inquiry.
We're going to go with hers first, right?
Madam Chair.
The committee will suspend. The member will state the words she wishes taken down.
Well, actually, Madam Chair, the words were actually not made.
The committee will suspend.
Many hours later.
The hearing will come to order. Miss Mace, I'd like to ask, we've looked at the words that were said, and it's borderline whether it's parliamentary and goes along with the rules, saying could and accusing the White House and members of this committee of crimes is borderline. So in interest of the hearing and our witnesses that are here today defending themselves against the mentally ill biological males that have invaded their sports, and in the interest of making sure that we stay on track instead of getting sidetracked into Democrats' nonstop fake accusations, I just ask, thank you for bringing up the motion and ask if you'd
Yes,
like
Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. With that, I now recognize, she already did, Ms. Stansbury. I now recognize Mr. Burchett from Tennessee for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chair Lady.
Madam Chairman, I'm sorry, it has to be withdrawn on the record.
She asked the question and she said, yes, Madam Chair.
You weren't listening, Ms. Stansbury. We handled that, and it has been removed for the record. The fake accusations of criminal behavior. Oh, are you accusing also and lying? And you're continually disrupting this hearing and won't stay on track about mentally ill men trying to beat down women in women's sports. We're going to stay on track now, Ms. Stansbury, so hopefully you can go along with this hearing and stay on subject. But I now recognize Mr. Burchett from Tennessee.
Thank you, Chair Lady.
So y'all, again, this is just a guilty pleasure video. You know, it's Friday. If you're watching this after Friday, whatever day it is, you can have a guilty pleasure. You have my permission, okay? So y'all, you know, I want to know what you think in the comments. Sometimes I think like, okay, our civil discourse has devolved to this. But then I remember that way back in the day, you know, people were doing duels and killing each other. So, you know, maybe this is an upgrade. Who knows? Let me know what y'all think in the comments. But before you do, please stop, hit the share button, share this video out through email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all of your favorite, least favorite, and moderately favorite social mediums. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. Y'all, you know what? I want to let y'all know. I want to thank y'all. People have been contacting my partners at Augusta Precious Metals. They are securing their retirements, $50,000 to $100,000 or more. Remember, that's the cutoff, y'all. But they have been securing their retirements, and I just want to thank y'all for responding. Like I said, I'm buying gold myself. So if that applies to you, y'all, go down, click the link, put in your information, get the free guide, and we are going to reach out to you. Again, thank y'all. Love y'all. See you back in the next one.